house I could never afford but would be mine with a simple nod of the head. "What do you think?" Evan asked before I even got all the way out of the car. If I'd had to guess, I would have put him around my age. Maybe a bit older, 40 at the most. I wondered if he was married. He didn't wear a ring. "I like the flowers," I told him. "Aren't they magnificent? You'll have a gardener, of course." "Of course." Evan said that a lot. "We'll take care of everything, of course. If you have questions, you can call me anytime, of course." On the weekends, he sometimes wore a faded blue baseball cap with a Y on it, for Yale. Apparently, he went there. I wondered if he'd majored in kissing ass because he was really good at it. I started toward the front door. My knee was stiff, but I tried not to limp as I walked up the uneven stone path. I'd finished my 8 weeks of physical therapy, but Evan said I could do more sessions if I wanted to. Of course. He followed me onto the front porch. Not a porch, really, just a covered entryway, so you could open the door without getting rained on. There was a little wooden bench by the door. It looked brand new. I wondered if it came with the house, or if Kiss Ass put it there. Evan offered me the key. "Do the honors?" He smiled at me. I wondered what he was thinking. I didn't imagine he felt sorry for me. Not anymore. He probably thought I was the luckiest bitch on the planet. When you have enough money, everything is for sale. I proved that. I took the key from him and unlocked the door. The bolt was heavy and made a loud thunk when it retracted. I don't know how wide the doorway was, but I remember thinking you could roll a piano through it. Not the kind they have in bars, the pear-shaped kind that they have at fancy hotels and inside Nordstrom. The knotty wood floors were cinnamon-colored, to match the smell of the place, I thought. The creamy vanilla walls and gingerbread curtains made me feel like I was walking into a chai tea latte. My eyes welled with tears at the perfection of it all. Happiness mixed with shame, mixed with grief. It was damn near overwhelming. I slipped off my shoes and padded through the grand entryway, under a wagon wheel chandelier with bulbs the size of tennis balls. I wondered where you bought bulbs like that, and how on earth I would change them. The dining room, it has a dining room, was straight out of Downton Abbey, with a thick wooden table and 8 high-back chairs. 4 additional chairs, dinner for 12, anyone, stood guard beside the lowboy buffet. I wondered if there was china inside. I didn't dare look. I continued on to the kitchen, which had an island you could sit at. There were only 3 stools, but room for twice as many. Not that I would need more than 3. It was only Savannah and me, and I didn't plan on having any guests for breakfast. If we were a normal family, we would probably eat in the nook, which was enclosed by walls of glass with rugged pine trees just beyond. There was a formal living room I would never use, and an office with built-in bookcases I likewise wouldn't need. They would look silly if I didn't fill them, so I'd either have to keep the door closed or take up reading. The stairs to the 2nd floor were carpeted, but I took them slowly. My physical therapist had told me not to baby my knee. My leg needed to get stronger. I should push through the pain. But I still leaned on the railing a bit, noting how smooth and wide it was under my palm. There were 3 bedrooms upstairs. The first 2 were regular size, except that they had bathrooms and balconies, which made them feel grander. The master was at the end of the hall. I pushed open the double doors and stood at the threshold. I knew they had to furnish it with a king-size bed. The space would have looked ridiculous with anything smaller. But I'd never had a king-size bed in my life. It felt at once both lavish and cruel. There was a quilted storage chest for blankets at the foot of the bed. Just past that, a shabby chic sofa faced a fireplace lined with little glass rocks that looked like what happens when a windshield breaks. It was more like an apartment than a bedroom, and I wondered what I was supposed to do with 2 walk-in closets now that I wasn't a 2 anymore. Will my allowance be enough to fill them with new clothes? And what do I need with new clothes? I sat on the bed and looked